Welcome to the Workplace Minute, powered by H3 HR Advisors, the podcast that keeps HR pros, business leaders, and operations teams ahead of the curve. We're sponsored by our friends at Paychex and also by WorkHuman. My name is Steve Boese. Work patterns are changing despite crabby baby boomer complaints. Today we're diving into how work patterns, schedules, locations, and more are continuing to change and evolve, even in the face of high-profile complaining from usually older male leaders of industry. For many of us 9-to-5 types, the excitement of the long weekend is only surpassed by the even rarer 4-day weekend or the almost extinct full week away from work. It's shocking just how restful and delightful an extra day off, typically on one of the recognized federal holidays, makes us all feel. What if the long weekend was just the weekend? That's what many organizations have been testing and even formalizing in recent years. For workers, a 4-day work week is more than just about having a longer weekend. It's also about providing extra flexibility and increased work-life balance while also minimizing burnout. In fact, some 77% of workers say a 4-day work week, even if it still means working 40 hours, would have a favorable impact on their well-being, according to a survey by Gallup. And at Exos, a performance coaching company with over 3,500 employees, a 4-day workweek was implemented and the results were largely positive. Teams were allowed to take one day as a you do you day, and their productivity increased by some 24%, and burnout levels were cut in half. Other business leaders have started paying attention too. About 30% of CEOs are now considering new organization-wide work schedule shifts, like a 4 or a 4.5-day work week, according to a KPMG survey of 100 CEOs at U.S. companies with over $500 million in revenue. And earlier this year, the Tokyo metropolitan government began allowing its employees to work only 4 days a week in an attempt to help alleviate its growing population crisis and allow parents to better balance childcare and work. And the governor of Tokyo, Yuriko Koike, has said that a 4-day work week is key to building a modern workplace. We must build a society where everyone can balance work and family life, and one step forward is the 4-day workweek, she said. Flexible systems like this allow both women and men to choose a work style that reflects their circumstances. But any change from the established patterns of work, 40 hours or so a week, Monday through Friday, and always in the office or at the physical work location, is always going to be met by pushback. And often this pushback comes from older, experienced leaders who simply don't know anything other than the way it's always been. Plus, these leaders are often trapped into thinking along the lines of, hey, I went into the office every day, Monday through Friday. I got in early and I worked late, and look how successful I became. Therefore, that is the way. In fact, that is likely the only path to success and achievement at work. Case in point, Shark Tank star and CEO Kevin O'Leary, who's known for his blunt communication style, was asked about a growing trend among workers for wanting the 4-day workweek. It's something that France in particular is exploring, on top of already capping the workweek at 35 hours. That is the stupidest idea I ever heard, O'Leary recently told Fox News. I think we should let the French go to a 2-day workweek and then kick their butt internationally. O'Leary's skepticism in the 4-day workweek stems more from his feeling that work-life balance does not even exist as a concept, and that we should be working, or at least available for work, all of the time if we want to be successful. Later in that same interview, he states that the traditional 9-to-5, 5 days a week work schedule is not what it used to be. In fact, with 40% of his own company's staff working remotely around the world, he admitted he doesn't care when his staff does their work, as long as it gets done on time. There's no such thing as a work week anymore anyway, on a digital economy after the pandemic, he said. So why, most likely, is he and other aging leaders against a 4-day work week? Because by redefining the working week and establishing the working week as a 4-day week, we intentionally delineate and separate, at least on paper, working time and non-working time. We're informing staff of the new expectations for work and cementing their expectations of non-working time. And we are validating that those precious long weekends are theirs and will be the norm going forward. Establishing a formal 4-day workweek policy is incredibly empowering to employees, I think. It gives them more time to deal with their personal commitments and responsibilities, more time to chase their dreams and goals and hobbies outside of work, more time to rest, rejuvenate, and work on their own well-being, more time with their families, just a better quality of life overall for most. And sadly, that empowerment, that freedom, that agency for employees has never sat all that well with many old school CEOs and leaders, especially ones for whom work is and has always been the defining characteristic of their lives. They dislike it so much because they don't understand it. But most of us do, and we know how most of us want to define our lives. Sure, some of that definition is our work, but not all of it, and that is why employees love ideas like the 4-day work week so much. That's all for today's Workplace Minute. Want more on the future of work, talent, and technology? Be sure to hit follow or subscribe and share this episode with a colleague who cares about getting the workplace right. And we will continue to follow this and all the important topics and trends in the world of work here on the HR Happy Hour Media Network. This has been Steve Boese for the Workplace Minute, powered by H3 HR Advisors.